For me, coming to Karbala is coming home.
From a young age, Hussain has touched my heart in many ways.
Coming over here really renews hope. It gives me hope. It gives me the will to go back and do more.
I think coming here just always provides me personally a newfound respect and inner strength that I can find myself through Hussain ibn Ali to continue pursuing good work.
Karbala to me is that land which has given a message loud and clear that you have to walk the talk and you have to convert your thoughts into action.
To me, Hussain represents justice.
I find refuge in Hussain and his values and his love, which encompasses you regardless of who you are, regardless of where you've been, regardless of where you're going.
Hussain is an international NGO, and our mission is about creating societies inspired by Hussain ibn Ali. A society inspired by Hussain is one where there's dignity, compassion and justice for everyone in that society. And in the 12 or so years that we've been operating, communities around the world, from east to west, from north to south, have come to expect from Hussain teams a sense of we can go to these people and they'll take care of us. Whether that's the homeless coming to us for food and shelter, whether that's the hungry and the orphans, or whether that's coming to us, finding a Hussain team when there's been a natural disaster or emergency situation. This week is all about getting together our teams from around the world to do two things. One, to re-energize everyone, to remind everyone of what it is we're trying to do so that we can carry on our mission for the next decade with great energy and vigor. And the second thing is about sharing and learning from each other. Everything we do at Hussain is about doing work that's impactful, sustainable, that addresses the core problems of your neighbours and your society.
We had a saying during the war, if it happened to Hussain, who are we for it not to happen to us? In the past year, due to us supporting Gaza, Israel bombarded us, martyred us, killed us. One day in September, at the end of September, they bombarded the south out of nowhere. 2,000 people were killed in the south. In less than 4 hours, 100,000 people left their houses, left their villages with nothing on their backs but their clothing. We were scattered in the street. We stayed hours on the road with nowhere to go to, no food, no money, not even mattresses, nothing. The war continued for approximately 2 months. It was hectic, it was tough. We lost a lot of good people, we lost a lot of amazing men and women. Entire families were eradicated. The last night before ceasefire was the worst. The whole of Lebanon was getting bombarded with no prior notice. We had no safety. We had no safety. It was very emotional. The reason why I do what we do is because of the legacy of Hussain ibn Ali. He told us to be generous, he told us to be kind, and what better generosity to give than our own precious time. If I have the power to do something, I should. With Hussain Lebanon, provide aids for families in need. We provide food boxes, we do blood drives. When I went to the shrine and I saw him and I started talking to him, and it was an emotional moment, I was like, we need you more than ever now. We need you in spirit. Please be with us. You have such a strong spirit. I want you to give me strength in my heart for me to continue your work with the charity, with Hussain.
Ever since I can remember, we've been taught about Hussain ibn Ali and the values he stood for and the stances he took against the tyrants of his time. As I grew older and older, the lessons I learned from the story of Karbala and his life in general just gave me a different angle every time, where I could learn new values, new morals to live by, and primarily learn to be strong regardless of what you face and give back to others regardless of who they are. My children and my family mean a lot. I have 4 boys, and they have always come with me and participated in whichever events we've held. My husband's always been there at my side. They've literally been the strength and the wind beneath my wings for me to do whatever I am doing. Before and after work, there's always prep and there's always things to deal with after, and I rely heavily on my family for that. Hussain, Texas, we have been doing work since 2013. We work with other organizations and we do our own projects as well. We have identified a lot of organizations, nonprofits, that are happy to have us work with them. And then we do our own work, which we work through our centers or through the community at large. In fact, anybody, our neighbors, our friends. The Hussain Ibn Ali Sanctuary came about when we were speaking to some families who were wanting to donate towards Texas Muslim Women's Foundation on behalf of Hussain. Unfortunately, there were senior women who were being neglected or abused in their homes. We provide whatever support we can. They have become stronger and they've actually become happier. We have gone and weeded their backyards, planted flowers. We have provided health checkups. We have taken their residents out for errands, doctor's visits, and just kind of spent time with them, just provided them with companionship. It is truly, truly important to help women in this situation because these women don't have anybody else to help them, and they're beyond the age where they can help themselves. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and this is something where I step outside and I do whatever I can that's in my capacity to give back, to bring purpose in my life. I want everybody in the world to know Hussain Ibn Ali because if they knew him, they would benefit greatly. He is such an inspirational figure. He is full of love and compassion, and he's also full of justice and equality and the strength to follow through on those qualities. Anybody in life, any age, any stage of life would benefit knowing him and learning about him and gaining inspiration from him.
In the year 2016, when I was a final year medicine student, I had visited Karbala. I was going through a very rough patch in my life where I couldn't find answers. And there was a school for orphans. After spending 2 to 3 hours with them, as I was leaving, the principal held my hand and he took me to his office. I saw 2 little girls. One was 5 years old and one was 7 years old, and they were inconsolably crying. I inquired with the principal why they crying. They said, they have a hole in their heart. That's when I realized what is my purpose in this life. We started this campaign of raising awareness and support to highlight congenital heart defects of children due to war, poverty, malnourishment, and faltering healthcare system. Since then, we have successfully treated 70 children with congenital heart defects. We also cater to people outside our community. What we do is we take 100 food kits and go to a temple. It's a message we want to give in a place like India, because when we speak about humanity, humanity is one. We may be divided by caste, creed and color, but we are united by humanity and we all bleed the same shade of red. We also visit a church, and the diversity what we have in India, we use it at our advantage. We also do medical camps. We offer scholarship for the school-going children. We do blanket drive during winter. Hussain Ibn Ali was a man, a revolutionary leader who stood up for a cause. His simple concept was rising against oppression. He famously said, "Death with dignity is better than life of humiliation." To achieve dignity, he was ready to sacrifice his entire life, his 6-month-old son, his 4-year-old daughter, and his entire family. You cannot compromise with your principles. You cannot compromise with dignity and respect. Anywhere in the world, whenever there's oppression, only one name comes to our mind. It's Hussain Ibn Ali. You don't have to be a Muslim to be a good human being. You need to be a good human being first, and you need to strive to be free in a world which is oppressing you day in and day out.
Today we're at Sacred Roots with Hussain Chicago, and we're packing over 200 winter care packages to be distributed out to the homeless population on the streets of Chicago. It is currently about 6 degrees Fahrenheit outside, with even more below zero freezing temperatures to be coming this week.
Hussain Chicago is involved with a lot of grassroots efforts. We try to target the more underfunded and homeless areas of Chicago, which is a huge rampant problem here. We have a lot of residents who live below the poverty line. So we try to do events such as our backpack drive, where we give school supplies to underprivileged students in Southside communities. And we also do things such as the winter care package drive. Chicago gets extremely cold, and so we try to help where we can and give out these winter care packages to help the homeless survive the winter just a little bit easier. And we do lots of other events such as dental drives, soup kitchens on a monthly or bi-monthly basis. Chicago is a very diverse city with people facing lots of different struggles. A lot of the community is living underneath the poverty line, and they don't have a lot of resources or support from government organizations. We have high dropout rates in Southside Chicago. We have a large homeless population. So we as Hussain Chicago try to do our best to step in. I think it's our responsibility as people who may have, a place of privilege where we had food on our table every night to give back where we can and to help kind of alleviate the struggles that you will never necessarily have experienced before. Hussain means compassion, integrity, justice. Hussain inspires me to do what I can, go above and beyond, really leading with love. When you're doing work like this, you look at the story of Hussain ibn Ali and you kind of see where, the struggles that he went through, what you face in your life, no matter what it is, there's always going to be, that motivation and drive to continue on, to do better. I try to put myself out there, go out of my comfort zone, really connect with those who are around me. Hussain always inspires me to overcome and to put my best foot forward to show the world that we're here and we do a lot of good.
The day my mother died, first I didn't believe it because I thought, how can something like that happen to me? Eventually, a day later, when we were doing the funeral and they were rolling the body out after the prayers, that's when it really hit me. For a little while, I cried, I mourned her. Once we got to the graveyard and we lowered her into the grave, I remember asking my dad to just step out of the grave for a little while so I can speak to her. And then I sat there, spoke to her for a couple of minutes, said some final things, and then came out and we buried her. She taught me his life, and there's nothing else but Hussain ibn Ali, and to focus on his teachings and to apply those in my life. I moved to Colombia about 4 years ago, and I realized that many people had not heard about Hussain ibn Ali, and I took it upon myself to create a team there so we can spread the message of Hussain ibn Ali and tell people about his name and who he is and what he stands for, so that way other people there can benefit and get to know him and hopefully better their lives through his principles and morals. Once they learn about him, they want to understand him better and his morals and principles. I didn't speak Spanish when I moved there, and my assistant would translate everything for me. So when people were asking me more about him, I would mention the stories about Hussain ibn Ali. My assistant was translating whatever I was saying. And in doing that, she started learning more about him, and eventually she wanted to come to Karbala and visit the shrine of Hussain ibn Ali. On that day, on the 10th of Muharram, he says, who is there to help me in my mission? He wasn't talking to the people at that time because his relatives and his friends and his sons, they were already martyred. So who was he really talking to? He was talking to the people that are yet to come, to the generations yet to come. So if we say we would support his mission, we would help him, then what are we doing today? I can't imagine my life without him. It's the morals and the principles that he stood up for. One of the things that really stands out is that he gave water even to the enemy that was going to kill him, knowing that they're going to kill him. Still serving mankind, even though it's his enemy, that's something that really stands out to me.
My connection with Hussain started from a young age, from when we were in schools, where we would learn about his teachings. But I drew closer to him when I first came to Karbala 8 years ago. That is when I actually felt it in my heart to see so many people here learning from his teachings, coming closer to him. This one man, what he stood for, plays a big role in people's lives today. 2022, my wife and I were approached by Hussain to start up in Uganda. We joined the Blood Heroes campaign. We managed to collect 2,768 units of blood in Uganda, breaking a national record and playing a big role towards the world record. In Uganda, we see there are a lot of orphans in Uganda. We try and spend a lot of time at orphanages where we can put a smile on orphans' faces, spend time with them, give them some hope in life, and we try and build their self-esteem by motivating them and giving them hope in life. In the last 2 years, we've probably visited about 10 to 15 orphanage homes. We try and take food to them, either a month's ration of food, or we sit with them and play games with them and put a smile on their face. Sometimes it makes us wonder that we complain about small things in life. We don't realize that these children sometimes don't have anything. When we look at life in a bigger picture, we realize that life is not about the small minor things that matter so much. It's more about doing what Hussain stood for. It's about helping people. We always complain about small things that we don't have. When we look at these children, they have no parents. They have no one there to help them. They have no sense of security. Hussain is a sense of hope for the world. He is there for everyone. He's around us. He is there with us in our daily lives.
Hussain ibn Ali stands for humanity. That's what I would want the world to know, that it's not about a religion, it's not about your culture, your race, where you're from. It's about humanity and all of us living together in harmony.
I want the world to know what Hussain stood for humanity, for everyone is equal, everyone is one, everyone should be treated equally.
When you find out about him, it almost seems like he reaches out and grasps you, and he pulls you in to his story. He pulls you in to the inspiration that you gain from him. I have not had a moment in my life where I felt that I cannot seek an answer or a possible solution from him.
It's very easy to say sacrifice or dignity, but I almost want to say the word love. I think everything he did throughout his life was always through a lens of love for his family, love for those who look up to him, love for just doing what's right. I think if that's the one thing that someone can just take from his message, that no matter what you're up against, standing up for the right thing is always going to be what makes you a true hero in the end.
We should always stand with the vulnerable. We should always stand with what's right, regardless of what's going to happen to us. So the legacy of Hussain is to help the vulnerable. If we all did that around the world, I think the world would be a better place.
As who is Hussain, we need to spread the word of Hussain and what he stood for and his acts of selflessness. If we can spread that more and more around the world, we will see a better world and a better environment for us all.
If you take 2 minutes of your time and read up on Hussain ibn Ali, you will leave not just impressed, but moved, pushed into action to give back and bring a little bit of positivity to your world. It doesn't matter where you are, or how many people you know, or how big or small your circle is. If you read his story, it is going to inspire you to improve the world, to improve your own circumstance, to improve the circumstances of others. It will give you hope and faith in humanity.